Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Wendy Sweet from My Menopause Transformation, and I'm beaming from you outside for a reason. I've been talking to the thousands of women in my coaching group about the incredible impact of vitamin D on our menopause symptoms. Every couple of weeks I pick a topic and I really drill down on that topic and how it affects our menopause symptoms. So we have lots and lots of conversations in the group, and it reminded me to remind you all, thank you for being in my community, it reminded me to tell you all to get your vitamin D levels checked. We often spend hundreds of dollars on different supplements and all sorts of remedies for our menopause symptoms, but I often say that menopause itself isn't the problem. The menopause is a natural event that all women go through. I call it the bookend to puberty, and it's the biological gateway into our aging years. Some of you go into menopause around about the global average age of 51, 52. Some of you are a bit earlier, some of you are a bit later, some of you are in surgical menopause, some of you are in menopause because of other medications and health concerns that you've had. But we all go through this life stage, and because it's the transition to our aging years, it becomes a very vulnerable time for our health as we age. My research interest has been in women's health and aging, and over the last few years I've had my head in hundreds of studies about vitamin D. When I went into menopause myself and my own symptoms were really concerning me and I put on a lot of weight, I didn't realise that vitamin D is impacted so much as we come through menopause. And the reason it's impacted is because we have so many estrogen receptors in our skin, and of course that's where vitamin D is produced with the sun hitting the skin, and then vitamin D is involved in the production of calcium in the parathyroid gland. So if our vitamin D is low, then it does affect all sorts of different chemical and hormonal pathways around the body. And there's researchers from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland who have traced a lot of those different pathways, and we now know that low vitamin D affects so many different symptoms around the body, including our sleep, our thyroid function, our joint health, certainly our muscles, and many of you experience anxiety, sometimes cardiac palpitations, and certainly depression, that emotional turmoil that I went through as well. And if you can get your vitamin D checked, then this is just one of the strategies that will allow you to get your body back in balance with your transition through menopause. I have a big focus on it in my programs because of the fact that here in New Zealand we're in winter. Obviously it's very difficult to get the right amount of vitamin D, and certainly here in New Zealand I think one of the problems that I have a problem with is the fact that it's a blood test that has to be paid for. So it's not offered to everyone, and it's not offered to all women as they come through menopause. So I think a lot of women skip through into menopause without understanding how much low vitamin D impacts on their symptoms. So it is something that we have to check. And then of course those of you who live in hot environments, and I know it's very hot in the UK at the moment. A lot of my ladies from the UK have been telling me that when it's really hot and we're feeling hot and bothered because of our menopause hot flushes and the fact that we're not sleeping, often we spend a lot of time inside because we're seeking air conditioning. So again, we're not getting the right amount of vitamin D on our skin. So sometimes we have to supplement, and I talk about that in my coaching groups, and we certainly have to look at the different foods that give us the right amount of vitamin D. It is one of those hormones that I call it a hormone on purpose, because even though it's a vitamin, it's been acknowledged that it is a very key part of our hormonal system. And of course, all of our hormones work together as we come through menopause. So sometimes the chaos with your symptoms that you're feeling is actually because you're deficient in some of the really important nutrients, and one of those nutrients may be vitamin D. I'm Dr. Wendy Sweet from My Menopause Transformation. If you haven't listened to the masterclass on menopause, then please do. If you go to the website, look at the programs link, and there's all my programs. The programs are 12 weeks long. They're all online. You can live anywhere in the world and do them, and you can take longer than 12 weeks as well. But if you'd like to start with the masterclass, that's my 2-hour event seminar that I was traveling around the world, but I've put that online for you. So that's often a really nice first step for you to take if you're wanting to learn more. So I'm just checking in with you and making sure that you understand about vitamin D. Thanks for being part of my community.